Overbound here. Today I'm going to show you how you can create an effect that will look like the earth is splitting open and revealing some lava underneath. So we're going to draw some pixel art lava textures, and we're going to draw this big animated crack. First, you might notice that I'm not in Photoshop. I'm in Illustrator. Illustrator is a vector art package that's sort of like a sister application to Photoshop, and I use it for creating a lot of effects and with vector graphics and then rasterizing them into pixel art. Don't be too intimidated by using this program. It's going to be really easy to do. It has a lot of features, but there's a lot about it that's very similar to Photoshop. So if you know Photoshop, you already have a good starting point for Illustrator. If you need a copy of Illustrator, you can get one from Adobe's website. It's Illustrator CS2, and I'll put a guide in the description on how you can do this. You have to register for the website and some things, but it's not too bad. We will have to modify this technique a little bit for that older version of Illustrator, but I'll show you that part when we get to it. To start with, we just need to use the pen tool in Illustrator to make some zigzag lines. This will be the basis of our crack, and then we'll use the Illustrator stroke to create the outline. So I'm just going to go ahead over here on the left panel and select the pen tool. If you don't see the pen tool, click and hold down, just like Photoshop, and you'll get some other options. You want just the regular pen tool, not this add or delete one. So click that. Now I'm just going to draw a zigzag. So I click, just click where you want each line to go. Oops. I don't like where I place that line, so I'm just going to hit backspace to undo it. Oops. Then I need to click back on the line to get it back. Okay, I think that's actually good. We'll just do one big zig like that. We'll bring this up here. I'm just moving around the crack a little bit. You can, if you're not happy with your crack, you can make another one. All I'm doing is clicking. Now let's start working with the crack. To start with, we want to select it with our black arrow tool here and increase the stroke. I want to increase it quite a bit. Probably to 4. That's looking good. And we want to change the outside, the pattern that the stroke uses to this one right here. It's called width profile 3. And this just makes the ends narrower and the center wider. And you can kind of see how that works up there. Next, let's add another stroke. We need the appearance panel to do this. So I'm going to go ahead into the Windows menu and find the appearance panel. It's already checked, you can see, and in fact it's right here. But if you didn't have it, that's how you'd find it. I'm going to go ahead and add a stroke to this vector path. Okay, I added a new stroke, and we're going to make it a little smaller. We'll make it a 2-pixel stroke, and we'll change the color to this nice red. Let's zoom in closely here and look at this. Okay, so what's happened here is we've created a black stroke that's 4 points wide, and now we have a red stroke under it that's 2 points. It doesn't have that that profile for the curve of or the drawing of the path, but we can just go ahead and give it another pattern up here, and this time we want to use the width profile 1. Okay, perfect. It's a bit similar to the other one, but it's just smoother. If you have an older version of Illustrator, maybe CS3 or older, you won't be able to add multiple strokes to a single path. So we just need to have as many paths as we need strokes. To do this, we're just going to copy and paste our path here, and we'll set this to the red, and then we'll make it 2 points. Now we've got 2 strokes here. We've just got to drag the one over the other. There are some tools in Illustrator that'll help you position these. For one thing, the layer panel, which can be found up here under Window, Layer, if you don't see it, tool this layer open, has all our paths listed, so we can drag them around in here to change their position. For instance, if the black path was in front of, or if the black path, gotta find the black path, guess that's this guy right here, was in front of our red path, we could simply come over here and drag it under. That will come in handy. This is also handy for selecting the objects. Since they occupy the same place in space, they're hard to select individually because you might get the black when you wanted the red, or the red when you wanted the black. We'll be dealing with a lot of these, so it's important to know how to select them properly. Now let's duplicate this. So I'm just going to select it with my black arrow tool, copy and paste it. Okay. Now I just want to make the strokes thicker because this is our crack as it's growing. So we made that 8, it was 4, that works, and we'll make this 4. Okay, and now let's add a stroke under another stroke to it, even lighter one yet, and we'll make it yellow. We probably won't end up using this yellow color, but it'll work for, it'll help us as we make this crack. Okay, there's another one. Very cool. Let's make a third. Copy, paste, bring it over. Let's go ahead and make one more copy. Copy, paste. And we'll set this to 4, this to 8, and this to 12. And I think, yeah, this will work perfectly. I shouldn't have made an extra copy. I should have copied off of this guy here. Copy, paste. There we go. And we'll do 16, 12, and 8. Okay, so this is the basis of our crack right here. It's all the frames we'll use. We need to make sure that these don't have fills on them. You can't tell it because it's on a white background, but if I were to pull this off of the canvas there, you can see it has a white fill, and it's right there in the appearance panel too. So I just need to go ahead and get rid of these by dragging them down to the trash can real quick. Just want the stroke, no fill. So I'll just do that to all of these. Okay. I also want to select them all and make sure they're aligned. Okay. So I'm going to hit this button here with the 2 bars to position everyone between each other. In fact, I think I'm going to move this guy over here and do this again. Give it more space. Okay. That just evens the spacing between them. And then vertically, I want them all to be centered. Okay. Now I just need to take them into Photoshop. So I've got them all selected, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy and bring them into Photoshop. And you can see here I've got a ground tile that we've designed previously. I'll just paste in my vector art. It's going to ask me how I want to paste this in, and I want to do it as a smart object, at least to start with. When you scale a smart object, it will remember the object that was in Illustrator, and since vector art in Illustrator is resolution independent when you scale it, you don't get any of those chunky blocks and lines that you do when you try to scale pixel art. So that's what's really nice about using Illustrator. And if we keep it on smart object, in other words, keeping the vector image and not rasterizing it into a bitmap, then we have the ability to scale without any distortion. So I'll just go ahead and select Smart Object and hit OK. The end result will end up in a rasterized effect, but for now that will work. Go ahead and make sure anti-aliasing is off. I'm hoping that this option is here in older versions of Photoshop. If not, you can let me know in the comments, and I'll try to figure out a workaround for that. It'll probably be a little confusing, but I'll work through it with you in the comments if there's an issue getting it to work with older versions of Photoshop. So what I want to do now is I just want to position my crack on this ground, and it's a little wide, so I'm going to go ahead and scale it this way, scale it down a little bit. Okay, that's good. And I want it a little taller because I want it to, I actually want the first crack to go above the ground. That way I can just chop it off. There. This crack's going to be a little bit different than an earlier crack I used in actually my game Sonic Time Twisted. I just actually did this effect for my game, and that's why I'm showing it to you guys now, is because it's just fresh in my mind and I thought it would be really interesting for a video. So we've got our crack here and we've got our ground, and now that we've scaled this as we want it, we need to go ahead and rasterize this layer. And to do that, I just need to select the Vector Smart Image layer, which is the layer that contains my vector image, right click it, and go to Rasterize Layer. If you want, you can make a copy of this layer so that you can maybe change your mind later before you rasterize it. But this is good, so I'm happy with it. Now I'm just going to go ahead and chop off the tops of these cracks, because they was sticking above ground, so it wasn't needed. Okay, now I just want to get each crack onto its own layer. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste them until they're all in their own layer. And this one I'm going to copy paste too and just delete that old layer. Okay, it lined them up really nicely for me by copying and pasting like that. It may or may not do that for you, but it's good to have them all lined up like that. Let's make a copy of the smallest crack by duplicating the layer. I'm just holding down Control and Alt and dragging it down to duplicate the layer. And I'm going to erase some of this. I have to turn off the copy there. I'm going to erase some of this crack. We'll start like that. And now I'm going to make another copy. And I'll just drag up this time, holding Control and Alt. Want that on the top. And this one I'm going to erase as well, but not quite as much. I'm going to do this a couple more times. There's what I did last time. Okay, that should be enough. Now we want to create a frame animation here in Photoshop. To do that, we need the timeline panel. So go ahead, go up to Windows and select Timeline. A little timeline will pop up. Go ahead and click, if you see here, Create Frame Animation, go ahead and click that button. Next, from this little menu over here on the right, select Make Frames from Layers. This will turn each layer into a frame animation. Go ahead and get rid of this first one because it's just the layer of this tile that we previously created and we don't need it. Then we'll turn on the grass layer for our frames. Okay, our frames are kind of out of order too, so let's go ahead and get them into order. Here's our first frame. Just checking it here to make sure. almost there. I think that's in order. Yep. Okay, now we'll go ahead and set the seconds to 1, or the delay between frames. This is just so we can get a little peek of what our frame animation will look like, and show you how to create little frame animations here in Photoshop. We'll set the loop to forever. Go ahead and hit play. You can see our crack expanding. Pretty cool. You can export this via Save for Web as a GIF, or you can just save out the frames by copying and pasting them in Photoshop. To do that, just select your marquee tool, select the layer, make sure the layers are on that you want. Like right now I'm capturing this layer of the crack. Hit Control Shift C, or up here in the edit menu, copy merge. That will copy all the layers at once. Otherwise you'd get a version separated from your tile, which you may want depending on what you're doing with the effect. For my purposes, I wanted the background with the effect. Remember, when you're copying and merging out on your largest layers, at this point you might want to get rid of the yellow and delete it. The reason this is because we're going to fill it with a lava texture. So let's go ahead and create a 64 by 64 red lava texture. And I'm just going to draw some lines in this real quick. Create a lighter red, or maybe a yellow, orange. Yeah, we'll go with orange for this. And we'll just create some guidelines here. Perfect. Okay, now I'm just gonna go through this and make some lines that go through it. I'll eventually delete those guidelines I created. This is just so that I can create a pattern easily that loops. So I'm just kind of creating circles for our lava texture, and this is just a really quick lava texture. The one I did for Time Twisted took a little bit longer, but this video is getting pretty long, so I just really want to get this over with for you guys, because I know that like the attention people pay towards videos wanes after 5-10 minutes. Let's go ahead and just delete some of these guidelines that we've created, now that we have sort of a pattern going on that we can use to finish the lava. And I'll just keep cleaning this up real quick. Fix this by painting a little. It's not an exact art, I'm just trying to make a lava pattern. Get rid of some of these little areas that are, and thicken some of the lines in places. Okay, let's go ahead and select that orange color we just created. Oops, I want to get rid of this guideline. Didn't see that one there. There we go. Okay, now I want to get rid of, or I want to select the orange. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and expand this by going to Select, Modify, Expand, and we'll just do 1 pixel. I'll just make it a little bit bigger. Unlike the contract or the border, this won't have a soft edge. It has a hard edge, which is wonderful. I really probably should reverse those colors. So let's go ahead and make this more of a lighter orangish. Okay, then we'll just make this sort of darker. Okay, and we'll select that same color again and do contract on it. Modify, contract by 1 pixel. And there's not much left, which is exactly what we want, because I just want to fill those with a little bit of white. Maybe not true white, but sort of a orangish, close to white. And then we'll do a couple of highlights in the lava. Looking good. I'm running out of time, so I'm hurrying. Let's duplicate this and make sure that it looks good when it is tiled. Yeah, I think that's pretty good for a really quick lava job. Maybe just another line right there or something, but I'm not even going to bother. That's just a quick lava texture. And then I got it on the same layer, but if I'm to put it on a different layer and I put it behind, you can see how, move it over a little bit, you can see how it makes a nice texture for our crack. Now I'm going to show you guys the finished effect when I take this texture and put it into an actual game engine. Okay, so here we are in engine, and I'm just going to run down this hill and you're going to see the lava crack in action. And there it is. It has it's a different crack because this is the one I actually used in my game, but it was made through the same process. The lava underneath has a shader effect on it, which creates the animation, and it's swaying left and right. That helps too. But it's just a similar lava and texture like we created, and then the crack similar too with all those frames. That's the finished effect right there. Thank you for watching this video. I know it was kind of long. Thanks for sticking with me. If you liked it, please hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and share my videos. It really helps out a ton. I hope to have another video for you guys soon. Thank you. Overbound out.